right. All right. What the hell were those funky ass jeans you were wearing in the picture you posted when you're talking to the Greenpeace dude?
Okay. And you know what? I'll put up that picture on our blog.
You
post.
have to, because I'm telling you what.
Question.
Before you answer,
I had this.
good, because you know what? For anybody that doesn't remember, like early '80s and Jordache jeans when they were like dark blue and they had that white stitching, too much of it, but all over it, and funky ass pockets and stuff. How's them? What the hell?
Okay, bud. First of all, if anybody that is even remotely non-Wrangler wearing would see the back pockets and immediately identify that those are True Religion jeans.
True Religion jeans?
Yeah, and the way that you just said True Religion jeans, True Religion jeans, it's kind of like, what would True Religion be? True Religion is like Seven for All Mankind, or Lucky jeans for Not As Old a Men.
Okay, I've heard Lucky. That's the only one I've heard.
Okay. Yeah, True Religion, it's a brand, and they make jeans, and I think I have like 4 different pair of True Religions.
So obviously those True Religions have not made their way to the cornfields of Indiana yet.
You know what? I bet you $1,000 if you walked into now I'm not sure what kind of department stores they have Nordstrom there, probably in Indianapolis, right?
Of course, yes.
All right, if you go into a Nordstrom,
well, we have to go to the farm co-op to buy.
Hence Wrangler Tough Skins.
No, yeah, we have.
Lee. You probably wear. I could see you wearing high-waisted, straight-cut Lee jeans.
Are you being serious?
A little bit.
My everyday jeans, if you will, are just Levi's, and my most comfortable jeans, I think I have 3 pair, are Tommy Bahamas.
Okay. Well, yeah, True Religion would be. Put it this way. Most of the offspring of the Tommy Bahama core demographic, those people have True Religions.
You caught that, Jessica, right?
I'm not commenting.
Yeah,
I could see you in I could see you in one of those short sleeve Tommy Bahama silk shirts. Have you never had one of those?
Oh, dude, I used to be a decade ago. I was very into Tommy Bahama, and then I realized I wasn't 65 years old, and I got rid of all of it. I probably had I was more into the linen and silk than all silk, but I probably had a couple pair of Tommy Bahama shorts, a couple pair of flip-flops or shoes, probably 7 or 8 Tommy Bahama shirts, and about a decade ago I got rid of all of them. Because I wasn't, I realized I wasn't 65 years old. But the True Religion.
You already said that. Let me see if I can translate that.
If I told you how much I paid for those True Religion jeans, your head would explode.
See, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I think if I can translate, your shallowness makes you insecure enough that you have to keep up with fashion trends. Is that what you're saying?
Would I say it's my shallowness? I don't say it's. I wouldn't say it's a shallow issue. I would say it's merely a intense focus on the surface. The shallow has a negative connotation. I expressly, purposely focus on that which is observable, and anything beyond that is uninteresting to me.
All right. Well played. All right. So, dude, I don't know, man. This is kind of a flat day in news. I mean, we're coming off the weekend. What do you want to talk about, man?
Well, I do. It's funny. You may have seen that article about the Obamas at this restaurant where it's a $500,000 to join.
Absolutely.
I had for over the holiday, Danny had a birthday, and we went out to Mastro's Steakhouse. You ever been to a Mastro's before?
No.
You ever heard of them?
No.
Mastro's, it's owned by Landry, uh, uh, which is the same guys. I think Landry owns. Well, they own Morton's. You've heard of Morton's? Morton's Steakhouse?
Yeah, been there.
Okay.
Been in the original one in Chicago multiple times, dude.
Okay. Well, Morton's is owned by Landry's Restaurants, and Mastro's is a similar kind of deal.
Okay.
So when I see here that the Obamas enjoyed, looking at this article, and again, folks, if you're listening live, you can look it up. It's been up for about a day on IJ Review. Obama's in royal trouble for dining at a restaurant with a $500,000 membership fee. 3-hour long, 15-course meal that's priced at nearly $300 a head. That doesn't include dessert, wine, or tip, and a dinner for two can be $1,000 or more. Well, as you know, Morton's, that's about as expensive as a
right.
I mean, it's a high-end steak joint, just like Mastro's, but it's not a one-off, unique, weird restaurant. I mean, that's on the very high end, but Morton's is a mainstream type of place, right?
Right.
Right. And I mean, it would be hard to spend $100 a person just for salad, dinner, and side dishes at Morton's. So I see that they were spending $300 a head.
Well, yeah, you throw in drinks, and you'll get there.
Oh gosh, yes. Well, that's expressly says. This thing here says that dessert, wine, or tip is not included. It's $500 a person. And to join this supper club, depending on the membership you get, it's $500,000 to join. So it's probably like any super duper high end private club that the price is just part of the way they keep out the riffraff, who the members are and who gets invited. It's funny looking at this story. It's just a constant reminder to me of it's not just the Obamas, although the optics of them in particular are expressly offensive. Just how incredibly far out of touch the political leadership is with the rank and file and the lives of most Americans.
Well, there's no question about that. And I would listen, and I think you pointed out in the article, excuse me, if they're, if they're scratching the check, it's their credit card, they're taking out the folding money, paying for it themselves. That's their business. The optics, on the other hand, particularly when he says, as it relates to going to the border or any number of other things, that he's not interested in optics, he ought to be keenly aware of the optics here. But let me tell you what bothers me the most. Every time I see something like this about him, imagine, if you will, Mitt Romney had won the election, and Mitt and his wife did exactly the same thing that these folks did. What would be happening in the liberal media?
Yeah, people would be going absolutely nuts. Proof that the president is out of touch. I mean, on and on and on.
Yeah, and the thing is, set that aside. Sure. At a high level of the political game, people that I think you can tend to get out of touch. But to me, again, and you and I've talked about this before, and it's why I write and it's why I talk and why I do this stuff for a living, is the hypocrisy. And not just of the Obamas here, but again, the liberal media. They would be losing their collective minds if George Bush had done this, if Mitt Romney, any Republican would do it. They would use it as, look how out of touch these people are with the common folk. Yet, what do we hear? Crickets.
Right. Yeah. The other aspect of the hypocrisy thing that bothers me is there's especially from the progressive left, a castigation of the wealthy, the 1%ers, inequality, things like that. I mean, that as far as if the president of the United States. I mean, if they showed him at a local crab shack sitting on a beat up old picnic table having lunch with all the cameras around and all this, I would be cynical enough to say, you know what, he's just doing that for for optics purposes.
Sure.
That is an attempt to identify with the common man, that he's dumping his French fries into mayonnaise and ketchup, right?
Well, when Obama famously went a year or two ago to Five Guys, you saw that story probably.
Mm-hmm.
Ordered a burger and ordered a bunch to take back to staff or whatever. It's exactly what that's all about. Just as Michelle, showing up at Target because she wants to get out and shop. It's all the same stuff with them.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be, speaking of the Five Guys thing, wouldn't it be far better that in some memoir of a staffer a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years later, you come to find out that every other Saturday night, the president is hanging out with the kitchen staff. He's got a big box of Five Guys burgers. And it wasn't something that anybody knew anything about. It was just something that he did.
Right.
Then you'd be like, okay, that's totally cool. See,
but that's who they being liberals, and I'm sorry, but that's who they are and what they do. I have read even criticism, and I don't have some names off the top of my head, but various conservatives along the way who are give money to charity like crazy, to various causes and whatever have you. You never heard anything about it. Remember when Bill Maher, I think it's maybe when Obama was running for re-election. It may have been the first time, but I think it was re-election. He donates $1 million to the campaign, but he does it on his show. He has people bring out this like 3 feet by 6 feet mock-up of a check that he signed. They have to make sure that their liberal buddies see and hear what they do.
Right. Yeah, it's disgusting. If later, if a month from now we had found out that Obama popped in the back of somebody's Camry and he and 3 buddies spent $4,500 having drinks and cigars and steaks at this private club while he's on vacation, then I'd be like, you know what? I totally get that. Completely awesome. But that it's some big statement thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, man! It just it's a tone deaf hypocrisy relative to, well, tomorrow we need to go out and talk about inequality and America rewards the takers. Get me another bottle of Chateau Lafite, please.
And of course, the reason that they can afford to be tone deaf, that they're granted that afforded that luxury, is because they know that the rank and file Democrats, the folk, proletariat, they don't care. They don't care. They're not going to go off on it like they would if it were Romney or anyone else. Listen, it's just like. It's just like Dingy Harry, the most despicable member of Congress by far. He's got some competition, but there's some daylight. But, the lies and the railing and the just ridiculous charges against the Koch brothers. But look at that list in terms of who gave more is Democrats. It's Tom Steyer. I mean, just across the board. So the hypocrisy on the left is profound.
Yeah, absolutely. Do your thing. Go have your nice dinner. Go play golf at the private club. All of that kind of stuff. I mean, that's part of the perks.
Shut the hell up about it.
And shut the hell up about it. That's the thing. Yeah, I want to go play Augusta National or wherever else. And the fact that you're this impressive national politician gets you on. That's part of the perks of doing it. Just don't spend tomorrow afternoon telling me that because I aspire to that type of lifestyle.
Okay, dude, listen, we're at the bottom of the half hour already, believe it or not. Dude, peeps, this is the Right Mics. We'll be back after the break.
Hey, this is Alfonso Rachel with 20 Pound Sledge and PJTV Zone Nation, and you're listening to VLR.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers.